Thanks for joining us here on ARC Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Tuesday, November 18th. We're looking at the latest in the search for Melody Buzzard, but first, an update from Saratoga Springs and what the FBI could be searching for in connection to a double homicide. So we start with the murder mystery in Saratoga Springs, with the feds assisting local law enforcement diving into the Jordan River for possible evidence linked to the double homicide of a mother and son. Chief investigative reporter Wendy Halloran was in Saratoga Springs following day 2 of the search.
In your experience, you believe there is a primary suspect and somebody has said something. Is that correct?
Yes.
A mother and her young son shot in the head back in March. A chilling note found in the home. This is a murder story. Greg Rogers is a retired FBI agent and spent 30 years with the Bureau. He says the FBI's assistance is telling about what is known to investigators.
Primary suspect might have said something to an associate or a friend, and that friend might have come forward.
Or, he says,
sometimes it's braggadocio. Other times you just have to get something off your chest.
The Bureau's involvement reveals somebody said something.
You don't undertake that just on a whim.
What is known is .22 caliber bullets were used to kill Jessica Lyman and her 8-year-old son, Eli Painter.
The chances of finding that weapon are 0, unless you have some indication of where it went in the water.
Rogers believes they know an approximate location of where the potential murder weapon was thrown into the river.
If they find a murder weapon, it's going to answer a whole lot of questions.
Rogers says it's important to take into account if they recover the murder weapon, there will be degradation.
The barrel is still going to be fine. With the ballistics, you're going to be able to show that those rounds came out of that handgun.
Rogers says the serial number engraved into the gun should withstand the test of time and river conditions.
Regardless of, even if it's rusted and everything else, we'll be able to get the serial numbers.
And then tracing the weapon is likely the easy part.
Sometimes it's as easy as you go to the original purchaser and he says, oh yeah, I sold that gun 10 years ago to this guy.
As it stands now, who killed the mother and son remains a mystery.
So unsealed search warrants from a few months ago revealed doorbell camera footage showing someone lurking nearby and a mask found in the home, which looked like the one that was worn by the person in that video. Diving is expected to resume again tomorrow. We've been following this story since last March, when 44-year-old Jessica Lyman and her 8-year-old son Eli Painter were found shot inside of their home. In June, investigators searched the home again. Then in July, search warrants were unsealed, revealing evidence involving Jessica Lyman's 15-year-old son. And this week, the FBI searched the Jordan River and the area around that home. So far, a suspect has not been named in the case. Now to some new details on the missing Melody Buzzard out of California. Melody was reported missing by school officials back on October 14th after a cross-country trip with her mother, Ashley. Ann Emerson with our Criminally Obsessed team was on ARC this morning with some new details from private investigator Bill Garcia.
That's right. We were able to connect with Bill Garcia. And if you've been following our coverage of the missing little girl, the 9-year-old girl, Melody Buzzard, Bill Garcia was brought on by the family, pro bono, of the Melody's father, who is deceased, but his family. So Bill's been working on this case, and we've been able to keep in touch with him about what he's learning. And he is learning a lot of new details right now about Melody. Very concerned about her whereabouts, of course. She's been missing for over a month, and the last time we heard about her was on this bizarre road trip that she took with her mother, Ashley, through 5 states. And then last sighting was at the Colorado-Utah border on her way back to California, where they were from, Lompoc, California. I spoke to Bill as he's been doing his work, and we're going to have a lot more on this today in a very exclusive interview with him. But what we're learning is that it looks to be that she may have made it back to the Ventura County, California area where they're from. So now he's looking very closely at leads that would take him around that area. And what it is a combination of not just what we've learned about this route that you're seeing now, this route that she took through, but why she possibly got back to Ventura County. It just makes it that much more urgent, doesn't it, that Melody could possibly be in the area.
Yeah, just a point of clarification. You're saying that he believes Melody, as well as the mother, made it back to Ventura County?
Yes, because we know Ashley did. Ashley definitely did, because she returned the rental car, which was that white Chevy Malibu that we keep on hearing about, where she switched the plates during this thousands of mile trip up and down over a 3-day period. So we know that she returned that rental car. And we also know that there was another rental car that was rented after that. That raises a lot of suspicions about that car as well. Now, the reason I think Bill is looking at these routes into Ventura County that are very important is because they are also not just important rural routes that would take her in. They're also routes that pass by a very symbolic area, which is the Santa Maria Cemetery, where the father who was deceased, the father of Melody, who Ashley had Melody with, is buried. And that is very symbolic area, of course. So that is one of the large areas that Bill is now looking at. And it's also based on the information that he's garnered from the investigation and law enforcement, paying close detail to what they did when they were at Ashley's house in the days following, when it was reported on October 14th that Melody had vanished. And learning more about that and what the house looked like, I think that there's more information pointing towards a possible landing for them. The question, of course, is Melody okay? Is Melody alive? And that is of utmost concern right now.
So Melody's mom, as we know, appeared in court on an unrelated matter. She is out of custody, but we understand she's wearing an ankle monitor.
She is, and you know, there has been an enormous amount of conversation about that as well, of course. It's easy to get an ankle monitor off, let's be honest. And this is a woman who was very deceptive. She wore wigs. She put a wig on her child. She drove through this extraordinary trip for 3 days, switching license plates. There's a lot to be concerned about with just having an ankle monitor on a woman like this. We also know that there's some mental health concerns with her as well. So that also raises a lot of eyebrows. However, she is supposed to be back in court Wednesday, and we will hear more. These are on these false imprisonment charges, of course, that a paralegal has come forward and said it was him, this Tyler Brewer. He's posted about it. He said he was the one that had filed this criminal complaint against Ashley. So they're going to take it to pretrial tomorrow. So we should be hearing more. Now, the big question I think that we all need to be paying attention to in this case is, could there be any more information coming out in that hearing? Because, of course, one of the most frustrating parts of the hearing last time was nobody ever asked the question, where is Melody? Yeah. Where is Melody? You know, so I'll be honest, like that was really hard, I think, for all of us to not hear. And I'm hoping that this is a second chance for someone to at least ask that question.
Is there a reason that police haven't or can't speak with the mother?
Well, I think they are in a roundabout way speaking with her, but I do believe that they have to be very careful. I've spoken to criminal defense attorneys about this exact question because it's so frustrating. I think there's a lot of concern that could taint evidence. It could Miranda rights. We know how important that is to make sure that she's got her Miranda rights when she's talking. But the main thing is, Ashley is not talking. She's not cooperating. She's not talking. And so far, we haven't been able to get much out of it. Now, of course, in your area, you know a lot about the Lori Vallow case, Lori Vallow Daybell. And, you know, the parallels, the similarities of a mom not cooperating, not saying where her children were. Of course, that ended in complete tragedy. And we're hoping desperately not to let that happen again. I'm sure that's what law enforcement is working on.
So as you just heard, Ashley Buzzard back in court tomorrow, unrelated to her daughter, who has not been seen, the 9-year-old Melody Buzzard, who had believed to be in Utah on that cross-country road trip. We've been following this case for a few weeks now. You can find our past reports and interviews with those involved in the search. Those are posted online on our KUTV YouTube page. A reminder also tomorrow, is Utah's Missing at 7 o'clock each and every Wednesday right here on Arc Salt Lake at 7 p.m. We bring you new missing persons cases, older cold cases, and we take a deeper dive, and we're hoping to have a conversation tomorrow with the family of a Utah woman missing out of California that we've covered here previously and also brought you some information on last week. That conversation expected to take place tomorrow. You can watch it on Utah's Missing at 7 o'clock. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, a memorial to Charlie Kirk at UVU is now a polarizing debate. The arguments from both sides and why trauma is at the core of them. Tonight, a report from an independent student newspaper raises new questions about the future of a proposed Charlie Kirk Memorial at Utah Valley University. BYU's The Cougar Chronicle says the UVU Student Association voted against the memorial in a meeting last week. 2 News has not been able to independently confirm that reporting, and a university spokesperson telling 2 News they were not aware of the vote. Our Liv Kelleher reports.
It's sad what happened, but unity is the best thing at this time. So yeah, I'm not against the Charlie Kirk Memorial. as long as it's off campus.
A polarizing debate has emerged on campus, with students pushing competing petitions on change.org. One petition with more than 15,000 signatures calls on UVU to prevent a Charlie Kirk memorial, calling him a controversial figure whose views do not represent values of inclusivity and diversity. A dueling petition in nearly 22,000 signatures, and says it would both honor Charlie Kirk and serve as a reminder of the value of communication over violence.
It's kind of the elephant in the room, you know? It's like, what all happened?
For some students, their opposition is about trauma, not politics.
I've known people that don't even want to go in the courtyard because that's where everything happened, and I feel like that would just bring back traumatic events.
The university formed its own independent memorial committee, which includes students, political leaders, and other stakeholders. Turning Point USA, which is advocating for the memorial, tells 2 News that opposition represents a vocal minority. Among students, the emotional divide is clear.
While it was traumatic, I think there should be something in place so that we remember what happened.
I would see, you know, why a very polarizing political figure, a statue to him, you know, but it would be controversial.
Tonight at 10 o'clock, many questions linger surrounding the man who allegedly shot and killed Charlie Kirk. When asking for video of Kirk's alleged killer turning himself in to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, I was told it no longer exists. Another question, is there evidence that supports this being a death penalty case?
To treat this case any different than any other murder case is almost, it's insulting to everyone who's lost someone to a murder.
Well, that is Rudy Bautista, who is also working a death penalty case right now, a separate case, also out of Utah County. So coming up at 10, why a local attorney says the Charlie Kirk murder case, again, should not warrant the death penalty, and his concern for a key piece of video evidence that seems to have disappeared. We'll dive into this further coming up tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. Let's get to your forecast now with meteorologist Sean Kelly. The southern part of the state getting some moisture, but really nothing right now for us here in northern Utah.
Yeah, and it's going down in the record books here in the top 10 longest stretch without any measurable snow here in Salt Lake City. Currently sitting at the 8th longest stretch. We might get to number 7 or even maybe number 6 here as we head into next week. Fortunately for us, just beyond the 7-day forecast, I'm seeing some opportunities here to see some measurable snow, and that would place us right around Thanksgiving weekend. So stay with us for updates on that. In the meantime, for right now, again, you can see why many of the ski resorts delaying that start to the ski season here. It's just in a pretty significant deficit for many of our mountains here in north and central Utah. Less than 50% statewide of average, but our southern mountains are doing well, and we're going to continue to add to those numbers here with the ongoing storm that we're dealing with now. But for areas up towards the north, we're not really seeing much in the way of impacts. We're into the 40s and 50s. Here's a look at those advisories, which will continue through Wednesday morning, likely extended into Thursday as well. You can see the activity this evening here, isolated showers, really not a big deal, not amounting to too much. We've got some light rain in the Moab area, just north of Monticello. And as we head into tomorrow morning, that's when things start to get going again in the Washington County area, northward into Cedar City. Some scattered activity continues into tomorrow evening as well. More so again for southern Utah, though we could see a few sprinkles and isolated shower here further up towards the north. But again, this is a slow-moving southern Utah storm for us over the next few days. By Thursday morning, maybe a few isolated showers again up towards the north and west, but again, the bulk of the precip is down across the central and southern part of the state. A little bit of that moisture tries to work its way further up towards the north on Thursday evening, and then finally out of here by Friday, and by the weekend, we're drying things out across the entire state. So over the course of the next several days, how much snow are we looking at? Well, Brian has already seen over a half a foot of snow, likely picking up another 7 inches of snow over the course of the next few days, including many of the mountains in the area here. Up towards the north, we might get enough moisture to maybe see a coating to 2 inches for some of our cottonwood resorts there. So at least that's better than nothing, right? In terms of that moisture and rainfall for the valleys, could see about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch for many of our central and southern areas here. But up towards the north, maybe could pick up a few 1/10 of an inch. That'll be a possibility here, though. Again, this was mainly for areas down towards the south. So we're into the 40s and 30s as we head into the overnight. Highs tomorrow into the 50s for much of the state. St. George, you're looking at unsettled weather here for the next few days. Also unseasonably cool weather as well. And then we're warming things up as we head into the weekend and then into early next week. Across the Wasatch Front, we've got temperatures here that are unseasonably warmer than normal. Temperatures into the 50s, drying out by the weekend, and then into early next week, we're dealing with temperatures into the 40s. So again, not the best forecast for snow lovers, but again, I'm keeping an eye on Thanksgiving weekend that we'll start to see more of a pattern change to maybe some storms here in northern Utah.
Alta had to make the decision today, hey, we're not going to really have anything, so we got to take care of business and push our day back. Meanwhile, Friday's still looking like a possibility for our friends at Bryan Head that have actually been getting snow and are expected to get more. Don't get me wrong, the whole mountain's not going to be open, but they're hoping to at least have maybe one of the two slopes off the Navajo lift and be able to get people out there to have a good time.
Yeah, especially for our northern mountains, I don't want you, wasting your time, energy, and money, right? Blowing snow and not getting anything natural falling from the sky. So I think time-wise here, kind of holding off, being a little bit patient, it's okay. This no need to panic. This happens from time to time. It's not December yet, so
people
hang in there.
Before we go, people always have the itch to get going, but then when we're in April and there's still
April,
100-inch base, when the skiing is so
nobody's
good,
out there.
no one's out there and no one wants to play.
No
I don't
sense,
get it. Sean, thank you. Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, they may look like fun, but one group says each of these toys has a hidden danger. Why they're on the list for the worst toys of the year. Next. Consumer group World Against Toys Causing Harm, or WATCH, released its list of the worst toys ahead of the holiday season.
All right, let's take a look at some of them. The Goose Slingers. Oh, all right, well, because of the potential for eye injuries, Marvel Avengers Hulk Smash Fist, while it may look obvious because of possible blunt force injuries.
Well, the shape sorter xylophone, which you saw there at the beginning of the video, looks relatively harmless, but WATCH says kids could swallow the pieces, and the Nerf Pro Gel Fire Igniter Blaster is on the list because, you guessed it, the possible potential eye injuries. The holiday season right around the corner. You can make sure Utah kids and seniors have presents to open on Christmas morning by adopting an angel from the 2 News Angel Tree.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to any Cypress Credit Union or Smith's and pull a card from one of the angel trees. Shop for your angel and return new unwrapped gifts by December 12th.
Have a good night. Utah's Missing tomorrow at 7.